What's up, guys? This particular video is going to be called The Consent of the Government over the Governed, or something along those lines. What's up, guys? It's your boy, the Bad Wolf. It's your man in blue, keeping it all true. The foreign national born natural, aka Mr. Non-Resident himself, owner of his own government, leader of his own nation. And don't forget to check out blacksite32.com because now we have a donation page on there. You can donate as you see, once, twice, 3 times, or you can have a ongoing, monthly, whatever else you want set up, okay? And there's new files on there. So with all the people that come there and get the free files, oh yeah, I see the numbers. I've seen the numbers, guys. You guys can stop and make a donation somewhere in there, all right? Anyway, let's get out to it. So shout out to all the people across TikTok and YouTube and Facebook and Telegram and all these other places. I found my information in China. Anyway, yeah, so thank you for that. I don't see, but when I hear a mentioning from someone, hey, so-and-so threw you a shout out, this goes out to all of you guys, all right? And I appreciate that because there are lots of people who use my information and then just use it as their own, which happens. But to you guys who help support me by even throwing a shout out, if I hear about you guys, I'll throw you guys a shout out back on my channel. I am not that way. So thank you in advance. So check out blacksite32.com, lots of information. And remember, guys, please, please, please do not get scammed by people out there pretending to be me. Even though I am in various groups and online things, I very rarely have time to comment back. I am just too busy. I'm either full work or sleep or studying or having a beverage, you know? And if I'm not doing those things, then I'm probably not on Earth. So for now, while I'm in mortal form, I'm going to keep doing this. For, you know, till whenever, till I decide to call it a day and retire. All right. Can't do this forever. That's why you guys are here to learn this. And then I'm going to go and retire. But you got some time on the clock. All right. I enjoy doing this. And so, but I have to, you know, have some time for the private side. All right. And all of the agents watching my program. Yeah. It's all good. It's all good. All right. No, it's all in good fun. So from your favorite non-belligerent, non-combatant treaty with the United States, educational information, entertainment purposes only, wearing the ever so stylish daishiki, keeping it freaky. All right. It's your boy, the Bad Werewolf. All right. So consent of the governed. Let's take a look at what the Bad Wolf is talking about. Okay, don't need that page. Nope. Nope, that's for another video. Nope. Don't need that one. That should be moved. Just give me 1 second, good peoples. So now I don't have a production staff per se to do these things for me. Okay, we're going to start here. Now, I've been telling you guys you should go to your state legislative website so you can see what the goings-ons is. All right. So we're going to pick on Wisconsin. It's one of my favorite states. I know they love me. And Arkansas is one of my other ones, and Florida, and Tennessee, and Montana. You bring back memories. All right. Anyway, so going to your state's legislative website, Well, the first thing you can see right here, they start off with sovereignty and jurisdiction of the state. So what are they saying right here? So they're saying, technically, I believe this should say jurisdiction and then sovereignty, but we'll leave it alone. So they're saying that they have all kind of powers, basically almost unchecked, within their jurisdiction. But where is their jurisdiction? Okay, so the area. Okay, so in the area, but that's only if you decide to be a member. Remember, they ask you to be what? A resident. So you can live here privately and not be a part of this. Doesn't mean you can go around running amok, because that's endangering public safety. But if you elect to be a resident, then you're now elevated from the private into the public. You are now a juridical person in the political hemisphere, and you are given a legal entity created by the state. The state created trust. It's a business trust in the all caps name. They turned into a federalized but state employee. Once that is done, you are now subject to these codes. Okay. So here, the sovereignty and jurisdiction of this state extend to all the places within the boundaries declared in Article 2 of the Constitution, subject only to such rights of jurisdiction as have been or shall be acquired by the United States. So the United States gave them the ability, which means they're the granddaddy, to do stuff in this area. Really, what it means is corporately and on paper, in the public. Okay, they don't have full control over houses and things, anything private in the area, but public things. And it shows it right in here. Okay. Interesting why they bring in the state of Minnesota to authorize any person to obstruct. Oh, this is on the river. So they're saying from river to the lake, these are our areas. Anything public is ours. Once again, the United States, sites and buildings. So the United States has stuff here. And look, operating under the Constitution of the United States. So they are subject to the higher law. So you guys can kick rocks thinking that the state can just do whatever they want. They have a large amount of sovereignty, but not total. They waived some of that to be under the Constitution to be protected, because nobody wanted to have Wisconsin getting taken over by Russia, and you pass by and there's border guards up there, and they're like, "Welcome to new Mother Russia, slughead Americans." Sorry, it's my best Russian accent. No offense, brata. So, all right. So if you go through all this, eventually they're going to tell you that, so you can see the state flag, government, the songs, all that good jazz. Anyway, what I'm trying to get to is that they're going to eventually talk about the fact that they have rule to administer the public. So listen to those words, okay? So if you go through their website, it's going to say they have the ability to administer over the public. But let's take a look at what that really means. Shazam. So the Declaration of Independence, here's a transcript of it on the National Archives, America's founding documents. America. God, I love that word. Long live America. God bless God in America. Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, Constitution for the United States of America. My America, patriot. Hee-wee! So in Congress, July 4th, 1776. Okay, now I'm not going to go through every part of this. But the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States. Now look how here, look at this. The proper way to do it. Look at United is in lowercase lettering. The unanimous declaration of the 13 United. So what are they saying here? So they're united, but it's the states of America. Okay. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands. Woo! YouTube, AI, censors. I know you guys are going to be hearing this. This is just me reading this declaration. educational information purposes. I want you guys to think I'm trying to overthrow anything. It's entertainment, information, history. Okay. To dissolve the political bans. What are the political bans? Political, politics, political jurisdiction. Those are bans, political bans, which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal stations to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitled them. You have powers. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. All right, now back in the day, we had to have all this memorized in class. This was insane. But anyway, behold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equally, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, undeniable, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Okay? I'm entitled to my life, my liberty, and whatever pursuit of happiness, as long as it doesn't infringe on somebody else's rights, I can have it. That's to secure these rights. So to secure my rights. Now, God has already endowed me with these, but it is the government's job to enforce the FUCK out of that anybody who infringes on them, meaning the states or any person, public or private, they should get that AZZ whooped. That is the job of the government. So long live the federal government who is charged with this task, and all the agencies and all the heads of state who took an oath to office. Heard 4 officers recently just got some federal charges for not upholding their oath of office. But I digress. Let us go on. Governments are instituted among men. So man creates the governments to control and to govern bad men and women and transgender and whatever. Deriving their, so the men create governments and the governments rule whether they're state or federal. But what does it say here? Deriving their just powers from the consent, just wait, dash more, the consent of the governed. Meaning they get their power from us. And in order for us to be governed, they have to have our consent. This means right here, people, this is the coup de grace. Lady. This means you have to have consent, a contractual, verbal, or written agreement to everything, because slavery has been outlawed. And if they make you do something without a contract, written or verbal, it's peonage. Slavery, a federal offense, because you're infringing on my rights, the right of the people who put them in power. I didn't put you in power so you can tell me what to do, unless I'm not doing right or I'm endangering other people or somebody else's rights. Consent of the governed. And how do they govern over us? Because our parents gave them our names. They then gave us a death mask known as a public transmitting utility, or you guys know it as the straw man, or in Latin, the nom de guerre, meaning you're a war name. And they turned you into an employee, a member of their political, up here, political band, representing it in all caps, which is a slave format for somebody who is experiencing capitis demitio maxima, or a full loss or waiving of rights to be under the Constitution. You've left America and you are now in a private government, state created or other. Period. That's it. Close it up. That's it. Have a good night. All right, not yet. that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people, because we have the power. And in fact, we are sovereign. We're just not sovereign citizens. The right of the people to alter or to abolish and to institute a new government. Now, a lot of times people want to give the federal government slack. It's not really the federal government that is doing the bad to you. It's your state. But the federal government could use a little sprucing up here and there. Could use a little slap on the backside. The right of the people to alter, abolish, and to institute a new government. This is what they're coming for, people. The Declaration, Bill of Rights, Constitution, because they don't want you to know this is where your power lays. Look, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such forms as to them to seem most likely to effect their safety and happiness. You are allowed to be safe and happy. Prudence indeed will dictate that the government long established should not be changed for light and transient causes. It means don't get all willy-nilly and just try to change stuff because it's, you don't care for a little thing. Make sure that it's right. But if you do feel that way, you guys got to get together and make it happen, Captain. And according to all experiences hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. You don't like what they're doing, change it. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go into all the rest of it because it does take all this. It's a lot. But if you want to know what you are able to do, how you're able to do what you're doing, then you need to get you a copy of the Declaration of Independence, Constitution for the United States, Bill of Rights. I've even heard of some people getting the Declaration of Independence and signing it and getting it notarized or apostilled or authenticated, making yourself party to it. These things were put in place to limit their power on them and to protect us. Okay, so now moving right along. Let's see what else, what other goodies we have, y'all. So remember that the federal, the state, and the local agencies are charged with administrating the public sector, not the private sector. Okay, not the private sector, but you have a public name. And yes, unfortunately, they don't understand that the name in all lowercase lettering represents your private side. Technically your given name, which is private sector. So you must create a private sector name, which should be James Cash Money of the Lovett Nation, or the equivalent, or heck, are you over 18? You're grown? Create your own name. It'd be called Woody McWoodpecker. Then make it so. Start creating it. We already made a video on that. They can't tell you how many. See, the problem is they can't tell you who you are. They can tell you who they know you to be, but that's hearsay. Okay. So let's take a look at what it says about the charge that the government gave to the states in administrating their duties to the public sector. Now, one guy out there, Eddie Craig, okay, pretty decent guy, pretty fair. We had some talks. I'll be honest and say I didn't personally care for the attempt at ambushing me in their little group. I went there with clean hands and of good faith, but it was a informational session, we'll say, where I do like that he's former sheriff and has turned into promoting this. So one of the key things is that he brought up that in the administration over the people, he said, he showed this, they are charged with the administration over the public sector, not the private. Only public U.S. citizens are in their charge. And if you look at the administrative information, it actually says that if you are in the active duty of commerce, that is the area where they are to write tickets and govern you. But the private sector, they're only to witness, help, protect. That's it. So only if you're using your vehicle for commercial purposes, but the problem is that your driver's license is commercial. That's why you're able to do Uber and whatever else, whether you use it for that or not, that's what it is. So the average person, unbeknownst to them, okay, has a commercial license that they aren't supposed to really be using unless you're doing commercial things. So that's why we have problems, is because if you have a license, you're informing them that this is probably going to be used for commercial use. So it's set up to be commercial. So they have charge over you. And until you remove that information and operate correctly in commerce and on the private side, you're not doing commerce properly. So let's take a look. So here we are on Dun and Bradstreet, and we're looking up public administration. The public administration sector consists of establishments of federal, state, and local governmental agencies that administer, oversee, and manage public, not private, public programs, and have executive, legislative, or, so not all of them have, that's why they put or, judicial authority, so not all of them have all of this, over the other institutions within a given area. So they basically are saying, the government saying, yep, you guys have all of this in your area, but not all of them have all aspects of these things. These agencies also set policies, create laws, adjudicate or judge civil and criminal legal cases, and provide for public safety and for national defense. In general, government establishments in the public administration sector oversee governmental programs. So some of these local establishments aren't the government, but they're overseeing governmental programs to ensure that people have these things and activities that are not performed by private establishments. Establishments in this sector typically are engaged in the organization and financing of the production of public goods and services. So far, I only heard the word private in there, that are not performed by these things, okay? But I didn't see anywhere where it said that they are over anything private, just public. So most of which are provided for the free or at a price that are not economically significant So they let them give you these things for free and some for a charge. Government establishments also engage in a wide range of productive activities covering not only the public goods and services, but also individual goods and services similar to those produced in sectors typically identified with, so not, but identified with private sector establishments. In general, ownership is not a criteria for classification in NAICS. Therefore, government establishments engage in production of private sector like goods, not the same as, but like goods and services, should be classified in the same way, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Let's get through all the little rhetoric here. One second. Okay, they're just talking about where they are. So the short version of this is that all this means that they are over the public. Okay, so right back in here, in general, government establishments in the public administration sector oversee programs and activities. So right here, activities that are not performed by private establishments. So if you're a private establishment, they control and run all of this, but that are not performed by anything private. So there you go. Okay. So they are to administer their control over anything that is commercial, but not the private side. So to continue. All right, so let's take a look at the state's definition of person. Shebang. 8. Person means an individual, corporation, business trust, estate, trust, partnership, limited liability, association, joint venture, public corporation, government subdivision, agency, or instrumentality. Now, did you hear anything in there that said private person, natural person, living person, private sector, private citizen, private sector, national, anything? No, me neither. Now, let's clinch it here. Clinch up a little bit. So we went through all of that. And then it says, or any other legal. So now I happen to know that underneath even though it's not here, and it should be, they have no definition of the word individual. It hasn't been defined here. So it's a little gray area, shall we say. But I know that this individual can mean a business or a living person, but it's not defined. So this would be something I would use in attacking or defending or whatever said things. But even if this does mean a living person, this right here says, or any other legal. So this would be, so they're converting, say this individual, let's just say for context, they mean here that it means a living person. But then here it says, or any other legal. So you're telling me that this is a legal person, which means a juridical person, not the living, breathing person, but a facsimile of, meaning a straw man, or any other legal, because this is where they have jurisdiction in the public over legal fictions, or commercial entity. It says, or any other legal or commercial entity. So all these things up here are legal and commercial entities. Boom. There you have it. Okay. Down here it says property. So when they say property, means anything that may be subject of ownership, including real or personal property. So they can claim your stuff. Okay. It can claim your stuff. You can let them claim your stuff if you allow it. Your personal property can become theirs. If you give it to them. Okay, talking about some power of attorney here. So I tell you guys, you can find lots of interesting things in here, but you also have to know how to interpret. Okay. Let's see what other goodies I can find real quick. All right, so let's take a look. So general administration. Okay, every state should have this. Purpose. For the purpose of this chapter are to conserve the state's resources by coordinating management services, providing effective aid to the agencies of the state government to present clearly defined alternative and objectives of the state's programs and policies, so the state agencies and the governor and the legislature may plan cooperatively and finance the services which the state will provide for its citizens. Okay, so that means the public side, public sector. Okay, residents. So they are to administer their services over the public. All right, not saying anything in here at all over the private whatsoever. Okay. So they do have some stuff in here, but they're talking about in dealing with the private. No jurisdiction over the private. Oh, this is interesting. Private individuals and land patents. Shot goes out to Ron Gibson. Yeah, they talk about it right here. Might have to click that. Let's see, hold on. Okay. Let's see here. A person who operates private passenger vehicle during an emergency or while parking. Well, that's not exactly it, but let's take a look. They're just talking about if you have an accident with a private person. So they do recognize private passenger vehicle. They do. They don't talk a whole lot about it out in the public, but they recognize private passenger vehicle right here, also known as foreign vehicle registration. Private passenger vehicle means a type 1 automobile. Okay, so now we know how they refer to it. Now we can look it up, see what we can find. Most of this is talking about renter and liability, damage waiver, and then nothing. So when they talk about person, once again, we're talking about a commercial entity. A commercial, or what did it say? Commercial, or, well, whatever the term was I used before. It's commercial and something, or legal. Commercial or legal. Okay. So only one spot right here do they mention that altogether. Here, let me see if I can. Got to put a plus between both. That means I want them all together. Yeah, same results. Imagine that. All right. All right, so check your state or any other state, but looks like here, private passenger vehicle means a type 1 automobile. Can't find anywhere else on the site. Now you guys understand what it's like looking up and learning this stuff. This is why we tell you guys, kick in those donations. Black Site 32, all right? This is what it's like trying to find this stuff. Yeah, okay, let's go back here. Now you're probably asking, how can that really help, right? Well, in your state or whatever, you would be able to put in there, now you know what it is. I operate a type 1 automobile. Now here's the key thing. Automobile. Okay, what do they usually say? Motor vehicle. And they say, oh, if this person, all right, well, I'm not a corporation. I'm not a legal or commercial entity. Unless you are, then you are subject to it. And I'm private sector. Okay, yeah, can't find anything more on that. All right, so that's about it, guys. So once again, get that information out, get it done. Just give you guys some more tidbits on how to set things up. All we got for now. More videos coming. Talk to you guys later. Don't forget to hit that bell, like, subscribe. Appreciate your energy, time, and attention. Excuse me. And more research is on the way.